Wow, is my hair a mess? Hi everybody, Richard Blyle here in desperate need of a shower. But I'm single. Guess what? Who am I showering for? So until I start smelling offensive to myself... Anyway, listen, this is a follow-up to the last recording I did, which was an attempt to desolder a circuit. And this is the circuit that I was trying to desolder. If you recall, I wanted to get out this transformer here. I could not do it. I could not get the solder points to melt. And I posted it. And I try to be honest. I am not a professional at this. I understand the theory. And I think I've done it before. I seem to recall doing it before, but if I did, it was only once. And it was so long ago, I don't even really remember it. So maybe I didn't do it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I did. But anyway, I'm back again, and I'm doing a couple of different things. When I posted that video, as you recall, it failed. Now, I posted it anyway because all of the theory was there. All of the explanations were there. It just didn't work for me. And I suggested that perhaps what was happening was that the solder, the particular metal that they used to solder here, which often is silver because of its first of all, two reasons. First of all, amazing electrical conductivity properties, very, very low resistance. The second thing is it doesn't corrode very easily. Now, it will corrode eventually. If you've ever had silver, actual silver service sets at home, silverware, you know that on rare occasion, not very often, but every once in a while, it will start to get that sort of grayish film on it, and you have to take that gray film off. That is because I like having music when I'm working. But let's at least turn it down so I have greater volume. Anyway, that is silver oxide. Now, most oxides actually form a sort of solid layer and prevent further oxidation by protecting the metal that's still underneath that oxide. Iron is an exception. Iron, which is known as rust, the oxide for iron actually forms this flaky, sort of loosely held oxide, which will flake off and expose a new layer of metal underneath it. But it doesn't happen often. So even if this is silver, even if it begins to oxidize, it'll only be on the surface. And it will still conduct well. When I posted my video, one of my viewers, who thinks he knows better than me, made a suggestion. Well, he probably does know better than me, or she, as the case may be. I'm actually not sure. But this viewer probably knows what they're doing. And in posting it, first of all, very kind words, and thank you for those kind words, very supportive. This person made a suggestion, and in doing so, or she has shown their experience with this, which is, like I say, it's something I don't have. I posted this just because I enjoy it, and I'm probably not the person who should be posting it, but there it is anyway. But what he suggested was, in these solder points, I should begin, I believe the term he used was priming them by adding some of my own solder to it. So basically, I'm going to begin by soldering more solder on top of this and see if it will melt it then. And although I don't have the experience with the soldering that this person seems to have, I am a chemist. I'm a physical chemist. And he or she, as the case may be, reminded me that I should think like a chemist. If this works, I'm going to form an alloy here of whatever metal this is with whatever metal my solder is, which I'm actually not even quite sure what it is. An alloy is just a mixture. It's a mixture of metals. That's all an alloy is. If you have 14 karat gold, it's a mixture of gold with other metals. And the amount of gold is 14/24 because 24 karat is pure. They don't sell 24 karat gold because gold is too soft. So if you have like a ring, for example, you want it to be at least 14 karat gold. I'm sorry, no more than 14 karat gold. It can be less. But rings get banged around a lot. Anything that's a higher amount of gold than 14 karat is probably too soft. It's going to get scratched and dented and dinged, and you don't want that. 18 karat gold is better for things like necklaces or pendants where it won't get banged around. 18 karat is 18/24. But being a physical chemist, I know that every mixture has a lower melting point than the pure material. That's called a colligative property. Colligative properties are properties of solutions that are a function of the concentration, but not of the solute. So if I mix these metals with something else, I'm going to get a mixture. And just by the very nature of being a mixture, it's going to have a lower melting point. So the first thing, one thing I'm going to do differently today is I'm going to try and add some of my own solder and see if that works. Now, if this doesn't work, I'm not going to post this video, so you already know that it will. The second thing that I'm going to do, I changed my tip out on my soldering iron. Last time I was using this tip, a very sharp tip. And it's very sharp and fine because the previous soldering project that I had that I was doing with this required that fine tip. So I changed that out. Now this particular soldering iron came with a variety of tips, and I changed it out for one that's a little bit wider, a little bit thicker, if I can get you to see it. Now we're going to see if that makes a difference as well. So it's not going to be such a sharply focused heat. It's going to be a little bit broader area. Maybe that'll make a difference too. I still have my handy dandy desoldering tool. Push the plunger in, and when you pull it out, when you push the button right here, it pops that plunger back out, creating a little mini vacuum right here at the tip, which will suck up any liquid solder. Here's your proof that it creates a vacuum. It doesn't even go all the way until I release my finger. So we're gonna do that. I am using my handy dandy clamp tool here. Let's refocus this. Maybe zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to clamp my. Let's see, what am I desoldering? It's these solder points. You can see that I've already tried. Let's do a couple. Let's make it hold a little bit better than last time as well. So I guess I'll do a few things different. And let's see if I can't focus in on that. If I can find it. This is not a great tripod, but we'll do what we can. All right. There we go. Let's see if it focuses properly. Let me put my glasses on so I can at least see what I'm doing. I've had the soldering iron on, so it is set to 450 degrees. Where is it? There it is, 450 degrees, which is backwards to you because this camera flips things around, as many cameras do. That's because of the optics. Light goes in, it gets focused, and then comes back out the other side, but on the opposite. So again, I'm going to prime my soldering tip a little bit. Just melt a little bit of solder on that bad boy. Shake it off so it's not too much. And we're good to go. So let's see if this works. So I'm going to apply a little heat here. and heat that bad boy up. I'm going to prime it by adding a little bit of my own solder. Is it going to work? You know, the other problem is it might be too all right. Grab my de-soldering tool. Did it work? Did it work? Something just came off, but that might have been my solder instead of their solder. Come on, Meow. Let's try a little patience. I feel like I feel the peg moving a little bit. Oh, there's definitely liquid solder there. And the other problem is I may not be practiced enough to be quick with this. That is definitely a problem because as soon as I pull this away, it begins to cool. And that, of course, means that it will reform. I am definitely getting some liquid metal here. I may have also chosen, oops, if I prime my little vacuum sucker thing. Can you still see this? On your finger or my fingers? Let's do it this way. This is, believe it or not, working because if you can see where it's a little bit brighter, there's actually less solder on this than when I started. And you can see the metal is starting to melt and become a liquid. This particular item that I'm trying to get off of the board actually has 4 solder points. So I'm kind of wondering if, because of that, it's not held on a little more tightly than if I tried one of the other components. It's only soldered in 2 locations. But yes, this is definitely working. I am at least melting the original solder. Let's try the second solder point. Second solder point is here. I'm going to heat that up. And let's prime it. Oh, this is working so much better. I don't know if you can see that or not. Get my fat finger out of the way. I definitely have liquid solder there. Oh, look at that. Took that right off. Try to get a little more. Ah! Took too long. It started to move on me. The other problem is I can actually feel the heat in the component itself. You know what, let's try one more thing real quick here because this is working. But like I say, I think that with 4 solder points, I might have chosen something. Maybe I'll choose something with 2 solder points instead of 4. I told you before, I didn't quite know what this was. So we have a solder point here. We're going to have another solder point down here in this little mess. Let's try and take this yellow thing off of here. See if that works better. So clearly that yellow thing is soldered here. Try and prime it. The other thing that priming does, get a little bit of liquid metal there. Liquid actually will help to disperse that heat faster and further. Come on, Meow. Well, this doesn't even want to... There we go. Yep, you can see that solder coming right off. Such a nice little what's the word I'm looking for? Ooh, and it's loose. It's like a little mound of solder when I start, and now it's flat. That's kind of cool. This little plug of solder just came out. You can see that. Put it up at the top. This came out of my soldering tool. So clearly I'm getting solder out. Trying to see if I can't push that component out through the hole. Well, I never said it was easy, did I? Alright, let's try the second solder point, which I think The second point should be this one right here. So what you are seeing here is progress. And I am getting the solder off. Now the problem is there's still a little bit of solder left there. If it's enough to hold it in, it makes it a little hard to push through. Prime it. And someone is texting me, which is strange because I have no friends. That's not entirely true. My friends are actually watching this, and I do have friends. I have the best friends in the world, and I love them all, and I know that they love me. And nobody can ask for anything other than love from their friends, right? Ha. And it's hot, but here is that yellow component that I just pulled out from this side. This component was right there. So, there you go. It worked. Believe it or not, even as my friend is texting me because he or she doesn't know that I'm actually recording right now. But it worked. Oh, and don't put your soldering iron down on your desk because that is hot, 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 hot. So I still didn't get this piece out, but I think that's because it's soldered at 4 different points, and each of them are supporting each other. This one only soldered at 2 points. So as one of them began to loosen, it was no longer holding the other. So this was actually easier to take out, but I did take it out. So there you go. Yes, soldering and desoldering are both possible with printed circuit boards. And I thank you very much for watching my odd little thing, and many thanks to my viewer who made this recommendation. It worked like a charm. You are clearly better at this than I am, so good job. All right, thank you very much and have a great evening.